I'm Christine from Yoga Berry. I'm a yoga teacher specializing in yoga for scoliosis. I also run a free Facebook community called Yoga for Scoliosis Community, which you're very welcome to join if you or one of your loved ones has scoliosis. So you will find lots of practice videos, you will find support, motivation, and just other people who are suffering from the same problems as you. So today's practice is going to be about upper back and shoulders. So specifically pain in the upper back and shoulders, which I'm sure a lot of you have experienced before. And for this practice you will need at least one blanket. So I've got one blanket and I will show you in a minute how to set it up. And if you've got one, a yoga bolster would be great. So they look like this. Now if you don't have a yoga bolster, no worries, you can also use blankets for this. However, if you want to invest in one thing for yoga, I would always suggest a yoga bolster, because there's so many things you can do and really useful for yoga for scoliosis, and a nice restorative practices which are great to relieve pain. So I'm going to put this to the side for now, the eye pillow as well, and I've got another blanket which I will use as a head support. So we will start in lying down, and if you generally find it difficult to lie down, bear with me, just watch it and then maybe see if this could be something for you. I know some of you find it difficult to lie on the floor, and there will be other practice afterwards sitting up and in all fours. So one blanket, I've just kind of folded it a few times, and it should be about the length of your upper body, so it's slightly longer than my upper body, but that's okay. I just want the hips and the upper body up to the shoulders, supported on there. And then I've got another blanket as a head support. So it kind of depends on how much curve you've got in the upper back. If you've got rounding in the upper back, you might want to even use a cushion. I've got a cushion here, and put it under your back. Now you don't want your head up too high. So for me, this is way too high, and it kind of supports this forward head posture, which we don't want to get into. So we want to have it nice and flat, the back of the neck open, but still comfortable. So that's the most important thing, make it comfortable for you. And then just have the feet flat on the ground, feet parallel to each other, and palms of the hand facing up towards the ceiling. Just close your eyes. So we're just starting with a few minutes of relaxation, and don't worry if you're uncomfortable at the moment. Just bear with me for a minute or so. Start to kind of notice your relationship with the ground. So notice how you're feeling today. So it's not about what has been over the last few weeks, what has been last weekend. It's about what is in the body right now, what sensations. So just scanning your body from the top of the head down towards the feet, noticing all the different areas. Breathing in and out through the nose. Just with every exhale, dropping into the ground a little bit more. And then really start to notice, starting with the hips, let's start to notice if there's one side of the hips dropping heavier into the ground than the other hip. Is there any unevenness in the back of the pelvis? Is there one side that is in firmer contact with the floor than the other? Slightly moving up the spine. Notice the back of your waist. Is there one side of the waist that seems to collapse into the ground a little bit more? seems flatter, and one side which arches off a little bit more. Moving up to the thoracic spine. Is there one side of the upper back that is in firmer contact with the floor than the other? And of course, if you have a thoracic curve and you've got a little bit of a hump or quite a lot of a hump on one side, you will notice this straight away, and this might be uncomfortable for you at the moment. So just noticing this. So we have the blanket underneath for a little bit of cushioning. Make it a little bit more comfortable, make it a little bit softer. So notice the shoulders now. Is there one side of the shoulders that is in firmer contact with the floor than the other? And then we can also use this blanket to give us a little bit more support. So you can just kind of roll the edges of the blanket and stuff kind of the contour of the body. So any parts that are arching off or any parts that you felt were in more firmer contact with the floor. So for me, I feel I've got a left lumbar curve. So I know my left side of the hips is always dropping into the ground a little bit more, so I can lift it a little bit higher. In the upper spine, I have a mild right thoracic curve, so I have a slight tiny hump on the right side, but it's not very pronounced. So for me, the upper back is not so much of a deal, but if you have quite a big rotation in the upper body, you might really want to stuff one side a lot more, giving yourself a lot more support. And then see if that makes a difference. So the reason why we're doing this, I want you to stay a little bit longer, just another minute or so, noticing the difference. And obviously if you're doing this on your own, you can stay as long as you like. But we want to start the practice in a relaxed way. We don't want to start it with lots of tension in the body. Good, so let's take another deep breath. And then from there, just slowly start to roll yourself over to the side and then bringing yourself up into sitting for a moment. And this is just to adjust the blanket because we're going to fold it now. So I'm going to fold it into like more of a rectangle shape. So it looks like this, about this width. So should be a little bit, it's like one hand length, I would say. And then you want to have quite a pronounced edge here on the side. So I have the kind of the flat bit here at the bottom, and at the top you can see I've got the folded parts of the blanket. So it forms like a little edge here at the top. And I'm going to put this here. This is where my upper body will go, and this is going to be it's going to be a little tiny little back bend for the upper body. So this is to open up the chest and kind of work against the rounding of the upper back, which can bring in a lot of tension. So to position yourself, you want this edge to be kind of at the lower part of the shoulder blade. So if you can see here from the side, that's about it. So there's a little bit of a lift here through the chest. I don't know if you can see this. So you can make this as high or as low as you want, of course. Just lying on the back might be challenging enough for you. 1 blanket, 2 blankets. You could even, once you get used to this, you could even use a yoga bolster. Now, if you have a spinal fusion, if you have a Harrington rod or something similar, obviously back bending is not actually possible. You might want to try it with 1 blanket and just see if that helps to open through the chest a little bit more, but don't overdo it. So don't start with a bolster straight away. So here, just closing your eyes again, noticing the support. In the beginning it might feel a little bit strange, but then kind of settling into this a little bit more. Take a few breaths. So I always say, before you make a judgment of a pose, take 10 breaths. If it's really unbearable, then you've gone too far and you might have to lower it slightly. If it is comfortable enough, then you can slowly work your way up. So start with 1 minute, then maybe 3 minutes, 5 minutes, up to 10 minutes, even 15 minutes, and that will make a big, big difference. So I do this pose if I've been active quite a lot, if I've been with the kids quite a lot, so there might be lots of bending and rolling the shoulders forwards, or generally feeling stressed if there's a lot going on in my life. This one is really to open the heart area, open the front of the chest. It's so important for scoliosis as we start to kind of fall into our patterns. So we want to keep the muscles around the chest nice and open, keep the lungs nice and open, making space, especially if you have, some of you might have problems breathing sometimes. So this one is great to open up the space for the lungs. Good. So when you've had enough, or when the time that you've dedicated to this is up, then you just slowly roll yourself over to the side, bring the support away, and then lie flat. So very important to lie flat on the ground after this, and noticing the difference just for a few moments, and then rolling yourself over to the side and coming up into sitting. Good. So we're going to do a little bit of mobilization, a little bit of work in sitting. Don't worry if you find it difficult to sit like this on the floor. You can sit on a cushion or blanket, or even sit on a chair. It's absolutely fine. We're just going to start to roll the shoulders a little bit. So we've softened through this whole area. Hopefully feel a little bit more release. Now we want to move it. So we want to get the blood flow going, just get a little bit of prana, as we say it in yoga, prana or life force into the body. So small circles to begin with, and then gradually letting them become bigger, really squeezing the shoulder blades together at the back. You might hear some noise there in the shoulders. That's okay, that's just kind of creating a little bit of space. And then release. Good. Lifting up through the crown of the head, turning the head to the right, looking over your right shoulder. Coming back to center, turn the head to the left. Coming back to center, turn the head to the right. Coming back to center, turning to the left. Coming back to center. Drop the head over to the right, so right ear towards the right shoulder. Breathing into the left side of the neck. Coming back to center, and then dropping the left ear towards the left shoulder. Good, and coming back to center. Let's draw some semicircles, so right ear towards the right shoulder. Bring the head forward, and then rolling over to the other side. Coming back forward, and then rolling over to the first side. So just rolling from side to side. Just noticing if there's any areas of particular tension. So if you feel lots of tightness in one spot, just stay there. Just letting the weight of the head create this stretch, and then just stay there for a few breaths. See if your exhale can help to release it a little bit more. And then continuing with the semicircles. Good. And then coming back to center from there. Good. So we're going to move the arms a little bit. Take the arms out to the sides. Inhale, we're going to bring the arms up. And then exhale to lower the arms. So we're just exploring the range of motion of the arms. Inhale to lift the arms. And exhale to lower. So next time we're going to use the head as well. So when you lower the arms, bring the chin towards the chest. When you lift the arms, look up towards the ceiling. So to lower, look down. Inhale, lift and look up towards the ceiling. Keep breathing. So you're coordinating your breath and your movement. Inhale to lift and exhale to lower. It's like a moving meditation. Inhale to lift and then exhale to lower. Good. Release the shoulders a couple of times again. Good. And then from there we're gonna do eagle arms. Eagle pose is a lovely balancing pose, and we usually do it standing up, but we're going to do this in sitting today. Have the right arm underneath the left, so crossing the right arm underneath the left, cross at the elbows, and then bring the hands together. So I'm going to show you from the side. Right arm under the left, bring the hands together, and then we're going to bring the elbows away from us. Inhale to lift and exhale to lower. Inhale to lift, exhale to lower. You might find this really hard and you might not be able to actually bring the hands together. So you can always use a belt, a yoga belt for example, or any sort of something to hold on to in between the hands. And you might not be able to actually get the elbows on top of each other, but just do what you can. What this does is access this place in between the shoulder blades. So it's really nice. It's like a little massage for yourself. So inhale and exhale. Inhale up and exhale to lower. Release, releasing the shoulders. And then we do the other side. Crossing at the elbows. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift and exhale to lower. So just a few times. And again, there might be some spots that might feel quite tight. So you can spend a little bit of time there. And then slowly release. Releasing the shoulders. Let's extend the legs for a moment. Just rotate the feet around the ankles one way and then the other way. And then bending the knees. Bring the hands onto the knees. Inhale, lifting the chest. And then exhale, round the spine, bring the chin towards the chest. Inhale to lift. And exhale to round, bring the chin towards the chest. Two more. Inhale, lifting the chest, look up. Exhale, leaning back, draw the navel back to the spine and round. Last one. Inhale and exhale. Good. Coming back to center, and we're going to set ourselves up for shavasana, for our final relaxation. So I like to use a yoga bolster underneath my knees for this. And I like to use a blanket underneath my head. And I like to use another blanket to cover my feet or cover myself completely if I'm a little bit cold. So make sure that you're comfortable. Lying on your back. Another nice thing to do is have something on your eyes. So I have an eye pillow which I can put on my eyes. Have the palms facing up towards the ceiling. And then stay here for a few minutes. So I'm going to come out. Let's see if you can stay in shavasana for at least 5 minutes. Working your way up to 20 minutes if you've got time. And it's really, really important to take the time for yourself. Take the time for relaxation. So I really hope that you enjoyed this, that you got something out of it. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, that would be fantastic. And let me know if you've got any comments, let me know if you've got any questions. Namaste.